This is episode 205. Now, the sky was covered in green-colored light, surrounding the willow deity, corroding those golden branches. This was naturally a type of fatal blow. One had to understand that the one who was displaying this type of curse power was not the old servant that dealt with Shahal back then, but the sect's number one supreme being. Sure enough, the golden branches separated from the bronze palace, feeling a bit powerless. Meanwhile, that magical artifact immediately rushed up, freed from its restriction. Now, some of the willow deity's golden branches became dispirited, its leaves full of spots, as if burned by the sun, already becoming dried up and yellow, on the verge of withering. The copper palace freed itself from the willow deity's control. At this time, a large expanse of symbols flew out from within. Immortal Palace's supreme being took action. One could see an ancient figure sitting within, continuously forming imprints, a giant human immortal appearing behind him. It then rushed out from the ancient palace, rushing murderously towards the willow deity. At this moment, the heavens collapsed and earth ruptured, ghosts cried and deities howled. Immortal Palace's supreme being finally took action again, after an endless amount of time had passed, displaying the most incomparable great might. Willow deity. Shahal cried out, feeling worry for it. It was because the willow deity seemed to have been cursed, the situation not looking too good. After a cold snort, the white-clothed willow deity moved strand after strand of mist. That place became indistinct. Then, those golden branches shook, light overflowing outwards. The spots on the golden branches all began to gather like streams, continuously converging, flowing towards a single branch. Then, all of the curse power was concentrated on a single branch. That golden branch became a dark green color, exceptionally terrifying. This branch began to burn, and then it blasted apart, thus neutralizing the curse. Everyone became stupefied. This curse was incredibly difficult to neutralize. Since the ancient times, just how many people were able to continue living? However, in the end, the willow deity actually eliminated it just like that. Normally speaking, when a curse entered the body, it would spread throughout the entire body, completely irreversible. However, it was able to force it all to one area, and then ultimately destroyed a single branch, thus completely eradicating the curse. The willow deity stood there, facing the human immortal imprint, directly sending out a palm. A honglong sounded, the collision making the heavenly domain shake violently. That human immortal grew dim, directly scattering. Immediately after, the willow deity slaughtered over to the copper palace. This time, it didn't seize the magical artifact, because it was someone else's after all, and it was an immortal Tao object, difficult to truly control. The willow deity directly stepped inside the copper palace, advancing inside to kill Immortal Palace supreme being. This scene made many people's fine hairs stand on end. It was too domineering and heaven-defying. It dared to enter the precious artifact of another. Everyone, do not waste time. Lend Immortal Palace's senior a hand and kill this willow tree. Phantom Drake Dow Gates Lord said. Everyone joined forces, charging forward together. The willow deity glanced back. Its body's aura surged, releasing exceptionally astonishing fluctuations. Over 100 willow branches flew out, sweeping towards the crowd. Among them, Phantom Drake Dow Gate Master suffered the greatest pressure, because most of the golden willow branches rushed at him. Ow-ho! A draconic cry sounded, resounding through heaven and earth, echoing through this place. It moved its head and brandished its tail, resisting the golden willow branches, joining up with everyone to seal up this precious technique's attack. However, it was still hit in the end, unable to avoid it. 2 dragon horns were wrapped around. Break! Phantom Drake Dow Gates Lord shouted. Unfortunately, even though he used his entire strength and everyone else also took action, those golden branches were still tough and indestructible like heavenly blades. The golden branches that wrapped around the dragon horns unexpectedly broke the dragon horns, coming off while soaked in blood. Phantom Drake Dow Gate Lord cried out loudly, its head bleeding greatly, face pale. It was truly frightened badly. It thought that it could escape this disaster, but the golden branches surged, already rushing forward, wrapping around his body. No! He cried out loudly. Everything was already too late. Even though its magical force was heaven-reaching, right now, it was like a sheep waiting to be slaughtered, unable to resist. That golden branch constricted its body until the scales came off, the injuries unimaginably severe. Its primordial spirit wished to flee. A golden branch flew over, and with a pu sound, it was pierced through, impaled and killed in the void. Another important figure died, leaving everyone horrified. Moreover, at this time, the willow deity already had 1 foot in the bronze palace, about to enter, not paying the crowd that rushed over any attention, not fearing that they might suppress it inside. Now, it rushed towards Immortal Palace Supreme Being. The willow deity entered the Immortal Palace. The group of people behind it took action. Inside the Immortal Palace, that seated figure formed an imprint. A 9-headed undying bird flew out, rushing out from the magical imprint and smashing towards willow deity. One of willow deity's feet stepped into the Immortal Palace. When it raised its hand, light flickered, a gentle and sparkling hand hacking forward. The 9-headed bird was immediately cut down, 9 heads falling. The 9-headed bird was originally made of bone texts, the embodiment of a great divine ability. At this time, it was struck out from the sky by an attack from willow deity, quickly crumbling apart. Everyone's expressions changed, all feeling like it was too powerful, that this was a bit ridiculous. Both of willow deity's legs stepped onto the palace, slaughtering his way in after all, powerful to a ridiculous degree. The copper palace trembled, the copper walls shone. Countless symbols appeared, as if beautiful immortal flowers were blossoming one after another, scattering down endless brilliance. All of the light were formed from natural laws. Right now, they rushed at willow deity, surrounding him, trying to dissolve his existence. The willow deity released a light scoff, its body surging with auspicious light. Then, hundreds and thousands of golden chains surged, all of them striking down on the bronze walls, making the entire ancient palace shake greatly. It stopped this attack, and then walked forward. It raised its hand, wishing to kill that ancient seated figure. It was just that easy, not stopping at all, no hesitation, its actions powerful as it attacked that enemy. It was just a single palm, yet it already struck through that seated figure, immediately making him fall. What? Immortal Palace's Supreme Being suffered a palm and collapsed. How could this be? That is the Supreme Being of an entire era, absolutely invincible, rarely encountering opponents in the higher realms. How could he have been blasted through by someone's palm? That figure collapsed, as if a corpse fell flat in the copper palace. The others all stopped moving, their faces full of shock, great waves stirring within their minds. Immortal Palace's Supreme Being was killed just like that. It was as if they were dreaming. Suddenly, willow deity revealed a startled expression, quickly halting its steps. At this time, the bronze Immortal Palace suddenly rocked back and forth, terrifying energy pervading the air. A crystal coffin flew out, smashing towards willow deity. Brilliant radiance erupted between the two of them, both the coffin and willow deity's bodies shaking. This flying coffin was clearly an incomparable attack. If not for the copper palace being so sturdy, known as a higher realm's supreme treasure, this place would have definitely been destroyed beyond recognition. Despite this being the case, the energy that was released from the copper palace still shattered the sky dome. Willow deity's figure stabilized, while the crystal coffin released a catcher sound, exploding open. A shocking energy storm erupted. The crystal coffin exploded, a white-haired elder rushing out from within, his skin wrinkled. He looked extremely old. For the sake of maintaining his vitality, he sealed himself in the crystal coffin. His eyes were like golden lanterns, bright and full of expression. They were sharp, his gaze like electricity. His entire body's aura was too powerful, enough to devour mountains and rivers. When one was even looked at by him, they would feel as if their flesh was going to explode. Even the sect masters present felt their hearts pound, feeling waves of chilliness. This was an ultra-powerful great figure. He was Immortal Palace's Supreme Being, the shadow that was previously seated was a fake. This was his real body. He immediately took a step out of the copper palace, and then with a turn of his hand, sealed the door, trapping the willow deity here. He activated this magical artifact with full strength, making it shine, surge with flames. It was as if a fiery furnace was formed, burning the 9 heavens. The willow deity was inside the copper palace, naturally suffering the most terrifying part of the attack. Willow deity took action, a palm slapping out, striking towards the palace door, about to slaughter his way out. Everyone, what are you staring blankly for? Help Senior refine this willow fiend, kill it here. Do not waste time. Someone shouted, reminding everyone that this was a rare opportunity. In that instant, symbols surged, the light rolling between heaven and earth. Smoke clouds rushed everywhere, heavenly stars appearing, the irregular scenes were shocking. All sect masters were taking action, wishing to seal willow deity to death, imprison it in the copper palace. Unfortunately, they were left disappointed. Willow deity dared go inside, so there was no way it was putting itself in a place of death. Thousands of branches shone, immediately rushing out. With a honglong sounded, they struck down on the copper palace. A great noise erupted, the entire copper palace leaning to its side, and then flying outwards, smashing into the crowd. Hurry and dodge. Someone cried out loudly. This was but one of the 10 great weapons, a sect's supreme treasure. Now that it was smashing down like this, bone texts shining, it could definitely kill sect masters. There were still some who moved a step late, smashed rotten. Before this powerful supreme treasure that was concentrated with symbols, even sect masters would die if they were hit. Immortal Palace Supreme Being's expression changed. The one trapped inside was too tyrannical, impossible to refine in a short time. Moreover, it was moving around with this precious artifact. Should this continue for a long time, who would this precious artifact belong to? This was hard to say. It was because Willow deity was extremely powerful. By forcefully moving the precious artifact, it might truly end up refining it. Immortal Palace Supreme Being did everything he could to display secret methods, forcefully summoning the copper palace, moreover opening up the seal, shaking Willow deity out. He was extremely worried that the other party would hide inside and refine his precious artifact, becoming its new owner. Willow Tree, do you truly believe yourself to be unmatched under the heavens? Immortal Palace Supreme Being shouted. Just come. Willow deity only had these 2 words, not saying anything else. Wide sleeves fluttered about. It already rushed over, fighting a great battle against the age-old Supreme Being. In that instant, the heavenly domain was torn apart, crazy winds blowing about. Blood rain poured down, lightning interweaved. Heaven and earth became pitch black, as if Judgment Day had arrived. They had just traded blows, yet the world already displayed abnormal changes, incomparably shocking, exceptionally vicious. This was an intense battle between supreme beings. Immortal Palace's ancestral master didn't disappoint everyone, more and more precious techniques appearing, forcefully facing Willow deity, not being defeated and nursing a grievance like the others, fighting intensely. It stopped. We should go up as well. Someone shouted. Let's kill the undying existence and eliminate them, as to avoid the undying existence interfering here. There was someone who proposed this. In reality, there was some that rushed towards Shahao, making this place's situation dangerous. All of you who don't want any face, except death. The undying existence shouted. He brought Shahao from Chi Daolin's side, protecting him and fending off those people. The undying existence had been fighting this entire time against a few experts, already killing several giants. Apart from him, there was also the Green Sky Peng, Great Golden Winged Peng, Peacock Divine Lord, as well as Immortal Ancient's 9 great sect masters. They were not a small number at all. If you want to kill Huang, you have to first pass by us. The 9 great sect masters took action. When they saw the Willow deity, they felt more and more that they made the right choice. The undying existence attacked, directly shattering a sect master's arm. He then charged murderously. At his side, the Great Golden Winged Peng and Green Sky Peng didn't fall behind, following their ancestral uncle in facing the enemies. The 9 great sect masters even more so worked together to fight the enemies, stopping those who rushed over. Peacock Divine Lord, for the sake of paying a debt of gratitude, fought for Willow deity. He also took action from the side, 5-colored divine light overflowing, his might oppressing this place. A great chaotic battle erupted. Suddenly, a great bell sound rang through the air. That enormous bell with or without character that had appeared a long time ago, but never took action released Dao sound. Following an oppressing loud sound, the great bell descended, smashing towards Willow deity. At the same time, Immortal Palace Supreme Being also attacked, striking out with the bronze palace that was now shrunken down to the size of a fist. 2 great supreme treasures attacked and suppressed together. Willow deity's circumstances weren't looking that great, encountering true opponents. Meanwhile, the other party had these types of unmatched weapons. Everyone, there is no need to go to war, it will be good if both sides take a step back. The desolate border is going to become chaotic, there is no need to engage in internal strife like this. A snow-white old tortoise appeared in the distant sky, speaking like this and urging everyone. This tortoise had lived for an incomparably long amount of time, one of the higher realm's oldest creatures. Its seniority was terrifyingly high, immediately drawing many sect masters' attention. However, they didn't stop. Tortoise brother, this matter cannot be reconciled. It is best if you just watch from the side. Immortal Palace Supreme Being spoke like this. The great battle was vicious. A Dao bell and copper palace began to resonate, rushing forward murderously together. There is no room for peace, only a battle, fight for what's upright and honorable. Willow deity shouted. Since the other side wasn't willing to stop, it naturally was without fear as well, fighting both of these enemies by himself, attacking until the sun and moon lost color, the heaven and earth ravaged. A myriad of willow branches shot out, all of them turning a silvery white color, carrying electrical radiance as if lightning was descending. Leaves fluttered about, as if heavenly phoenixes were dancing about one after another. Ancient sacrificial voices could vaguely be heard, as if they heard the prayers and cries of the earliest people. In the distance, the 9 great sect masters were shocked, muttering, "It truly is ancient ancestor guardian spirit." Ever since they saw the willow deity, they were already shaken up. How, when they heard this sacrificial voice, they found it even harder to calm down, willing to fight with their lives on the line for willow deity. A willow branch brushed past Immortal Palace Supreme Being's ears, carrying a string of blood, almost severing him at the neck. The great bell ran in a long and drawn-out manner. The massive Dao bell flew over, helping Immortal Palace Supreme Being neutralize the dangers. Willow deity continuously released heavy blows, attacking endlessly, striking down on that great bell, making that bell seem to cave in. Precious light rushed into the heavens. A without character appeared on the great bell, releasing strange natural laws, as if it could make all things return to nothingness, dissolving all tangible matter. Willow deity was surrounded by the without character's profound mysteries. It was also shaken, but it quickly became clear-headed again. All types of diagrams and symbols appeared from its entire body, the reappearance of the sacrificial imprints. Willow deity blasted that great bell upwards, though without character unable to injure him. Next to the great bell, a figure appeared, supporting this bell in rushing over murderously again. This time, on the other side of the great bell, in an extremely indistinct region, another character appeared, releasing blazing radiance. Everyone knew that there was a character there, but it was difficult for outsiders to see it clearly, unable to understand it. Now, the second character appeared on its own. It was an archaic character, and it was clear that this was also still just a true meaning one speculated from seeing that engraving. The two characters, when lined up together, formed without end. Endless bell. Many people cried out in alarm. They had previously heard of this name from excavating ancient remains. This wasn't something from this great era. Had my suspicions before, but I never expected it to be true. It really is the endless bell. That end character flew out, releasing brilliant multicolored light, ending everything, making Willow deity stagger and almost fall. One had to understand that this bell was damaged, not a flawless precious artifact, yet it still had this type of power. Without end. There are many secrets left behind. There are rumors that without end cannot represent all of his Tao, and only after comprehending the beginning profound mysteries would it be enough. Willow deity's body staggered, unexpectedly forced back. The bell sound rang endlessly, long and drawn out. That great bell's end character shone brilliantly, symbols shining, sweeping outwards like water ripples, shaking up one's soul. These waves then gathered towards one area, all of them moving towards the place Willow deity was at, not injuring anyone else, targeting it. The endless bell is extraordinary after all, worthy of being a supreme treasure, actually possessing this type of power, suppressing this mysterious willow tree. Someone cried out loudly in joy. One had to understand that from start to now, the willow deity had acted domineeringly this entire time, pushing back all sides, continuously killing sect master level figures, making everyone shiver with fear, powerless to contend. But now, there was unexpectedly someone stopping it, moreover seemingly even able to injure it, giving them hope. They were hoping that they could change the situation from this and kill it. Endless bell, ringing through 10,000 ancients, rumored to be like the three-world coffin, all of them ancient artifacts from the last great era. In that era, there might shock the world, its reputation well deserved. A few people's minds were shaken up. Just now, they were truly frightened badly by Willow deity, their loss is severe. Endless bell has great origins, it is naturally powerful without end. Western sect's sect master said. He had a Zhong 6 golden body, entire body as if cast from gold, glistening yellow and releasing a divine and extraordinary aura. He knew about many hidden secrets. It was because the reason his sect was what it was today was because there was a place of historical remains that had previously been excavated, the cave of a supreme being from the last great era. This was what they used to establish their sect. Their sect's inheritance was of the last great era's ancient monk bloodline, a supreme being inheritance whose name shook up the boundless heavenly domain. It was precisely because of this that Western sect's sect master was able to learn some secrets from the cave remains, seeing some recordings of this great bell. The name of its previous owner was Endless. An exceptional supreme being, someone who had witnessed long life, previously unmatched in an era, magical power overflowing, divine might incomparable. As long as he took action, he could suppress enemies of all sides. Unfortunately, as endless time passed, no one knew what exactly happened during Immortal Ancient's final years, damaging even the magical artifacts of unmatched figures. As for those back then, they knew even less about where they went. Willow deity stopped its humanoid body, no longer backing up. A divine disk appeared behind it, within the halo a golden willow tree, making Willow deity's human body look extraordinary and divine. That divine disk trembled, shooting out hundreds of symbols from within. 1,000 branches pierced into the bell waves like golden spears. Metal ringing sounds were released, dang-dang sounding. That was the result of the willow branches striking the great bell, the sounds intense and deafening. End everything. That figure next to the great bell shouted. He was the bell's present world wielder. His status was unordinary, magical force exceptional. After this shout, the great bell's radiance became even more resplendent. That end character shone brilliantly, erupting with chaotic light. There were even more complex natural laws, symbols and other things. A few of Willow deity's branches were blasted back, unexpectedly becoming a bit dim. Moreover, the end character shone blindingly, releasing terrifying power, truly about to end everything. Not good. Even a few sect masters were caught in the blast wave, quickly withdrawing. Their magical artifacts and others all cracked, about to be erased from existence. Make all life reach its end, everything reach a conclusion. This type of profound mystery was definitely horrifying, difficult to stop. Hundreds to thousands of willow branches shone, and then tens of thousands of golden willow leaves descended, dancing in the void, all of them striking towards the bell and that person. The bell sounds became increasingly intense. In the end, the great bell flew outwards, while blood trickled out from the corner of the mouth of this bell's present world wielder. He took steps backwards again and again, protecting the great bell. His face was pale. Immortal Palace rumbled, chaotic energy surging from within. Formation pattern light rushed out from within, rushing towards Willow deity. Endless Bell's present world wielder even more so released a great shout, rushing forward murderously again. Meanwhile, this time, both of the characters on the bell body shone, moreover interweaving together. Without end, these two characters were brilliant, engraving in the void. The two words no longer appeared as singular units, but instead completely merging together, forming an even more complex profound meaning. Ian. What is going on? Someone cried out in shock. Quite a few sect masters were taking action, wishing to help those two, yet in the end, they discovered that even this void became unstable. They hastily got caught up inside, seemingly entering a dangerous place. The without end two characters displayed might. Time became chaotic, as if they had fought into ice-cold eternity, exiled forever. They felt a sense of endless time, years wasting away. Time profound meaning. They were immersed in an endless banishment. Those who came close quickly backed up, not daring to approach. This bell was too strange. Just now, there was another type of natural law, but now, it immediately touched upon the domain of time. No one wanted to test the power of time. A single mistake, and they would be throwing their lives away. Willow deity also sank into a predicament, banished by time, hacked by endless years. This was not good. If it was anyone else that suffered this attack, they would have long lost their lives. Kill. Immortal Palace's old sect master's white hair danced about, eyes becoming vicious, aura surging. It was as if a vicious dragon went on a rampage, as if an immortal beast was roaring, releasing extremely dangerous energy. He continuously displayed precious techniques. Each time the magical imprint changed, it would always be a type of exceptional divine ability, all of them the greatest profound mysteries. Willow deity was struck until it retreated, trapped in the domain of time, surrounded by without end profound mysteries, and then now encountering this type. It was one disaster on top of another. On the other side, the undying existence, and others also took action. They couldn't provide Willow deity with help even if they wanted to. A group of sect masters surrounding them, difficult for them to break out. He unleashed a great slaughter here, raising a rain of blood and reeking winds. Perhaps they could eliminate Willow deity. Quite a few people saw hope, all of them taking action from the distance, adding magical force to that great bell, assisting its user. A few of the golden branches Willow deity activated exploded into dust, golden leaves withering as well. This result wasn't too good. Kill. A dawn sound rang out. The bronze immortal palace and that endless bell moved together, the two great supreme beings joining forces to suppress Willow deity. Together with the other sect masters' help in dealing with Willow deity, this place became more and more dangerous, the situation extremely terrible. Willow deity fell back, a few of the golden branches breaking, leaves damaged, dancing about in the wind. The golden liquid on the leaves shone like blood, drifting about, displaying a somewhat tragic beauty. Everyone saw that Willow deity had likely encountered some type of problem, possibly being suppressed and killed here. Everyone, let's just sit down and have a chat, there is no need for this internal strife. In the distance, the old white tortoise spoke, trying to advise against this one more time. Guardian Spirit Great One. On the other side, the 9 great sect masters that were currently fighting felt anxious, doing everything they can, rushing to this side out of fear of something unexpected happening to Willow deity. What is the use in saying these things now? Use this chance to suppress and kill it. A sect master shouted. Correct, they cannot be let go. Regardless of whether it is this willow tree, or the undying existence, or that young generation Huang, all of them will be killed to prevent them from becoming a future disaster. They intensified their attacks, hoping to wipe out the enemy in one move. However, the main force of this place, Immortal Place's old sect master, and the master of the Great Bell's faces became incredibly grave, not as easily as what everyone thought. It was because the two of them were doing everything they could, their own exceptional divine abilities continuously displayed, the 2 immortal Tao magical artifacts also shining, surging with heaven overflowing divine force, yet they still couldn't suppress this willow tree. If things continued like this, if that willow tree broke free, it would become extremely disadvantageous for them. In reality, Willow deity broke free even faster than their expectations. With a vicious shake, withered leaves flew about chaotically, some of the golden branches snapping. However, it broke free from the natural law domain. Immortal Palace's old sect master staggered backwards, blood trickling out from the corner of his mouth, the Tao robe covering his body exploding, clothes becoming ragged. He was in quite the sorry state. Meanwhile, on the side, the Great Bell's owner was also like this, his mouth and nose dripping with blood, corroded by magical force, struck flying by Willow deity, becoming injured here. Not good, hurry and retreat. A few people cried out loudly. You all don't wish to lower your spears? Willow deity asked, its voice still just as calm as before. It stepped forward, sweeping its eyes over everyone. Everyone became shocked, forced into retreating. Since it is the case, then it will be blood that will stop the conflict. Willow deity said. Immediately afterwards, its imposing manner completely changed, its entire being shining, the light spheres formed from 3,000 worlds entering its body, becoming imprints. It was as if an ancient armor was worn, the colors brilliant, aura matchless. Willow deity slaughtered forward, entering the masses like a tiger among wolves. There were no golden willow branches that flew out, nor were there any other symbols, only the pair of sparkling white palms. These palms were too powerful, unstoppable. It had just started attacking, yet blood was already seen, a sect master blasted flying. Someone activated a magical artifact to protect the body, stop this attack. In the end, Willow deity's palm struck out, that ancient cauldron exploding with a honglong sound, breaking into hundreds of fragments. A powerful magical artifact was thus destroyed. Then, Willow deity turned its hand, slapping forward. No matter how the other party's magical force flourished, how great his speed was, it was still difficult for him to free himself from this domain. This person was blasted into a meat patty, his primordial spirit then dissipating, dying here. The great bell rushed over again, but in the end, Willow deity's palm flew out, making the heavenly domain rupture. His palm and fingers left behind a deep imprint in the great bell. The great bell's owner flew backwards, but was still swept by the palm and fingers. With a pu sound, his shoulder deformed, entire being continuously swaying, the bones in his body releasing pi-pa sounds. Large mouthfuls of blood were coughed out from his mouth. Not good, this is an unmatched Dao. He entered a type of unusual state, only enemies in his eyes, forgetting all else, difficult to resist. The Dao of his previous incarnation is awakening. A few people cried out in terror. Dao friend, how about we just end things here today? Immortal Palace's sect master opened his mouth. He was an ancient supreme being, someone who had lived for endless years, experienced too much. When he saw Willow Deity's current state, he immediately shivered inwardly. It seemed like it would be difficult to win today. Unless they invited a long-life individual, the Willow Tree, who had immersed himself into the unmatched Dao, couldn't be kept in check at all. Do you think it'll end just because you say it will? I still haven't killed enough. The calm Willow Deity unexpectedly replied like this, making others horrified. Everyone's fine hairs stood on end. Willow Deity's white clothes fluttered about, walking forward. It looked like an exiled immortal, untainted by a speck of dust, aloof and otherworldly. Its palm and fingers shone, releasing five-colored divine radiance. Immortal Palace's old sect master shouted, continuously producing magical imprints to contend against it. However, Immortal Palace's ancient ancestor's mouth coughed out blood. His arm contorted, suffering a great loss in this intense trading of attacks. You've become old. Willow Deity said. With a hong sound, it looked down from above, a palm slapping down, blasting Immortal Palace's ancient ancestor, until his mouth tasted fishy, blood continuously coughed out. Then, Immortal Palace's old sect master's battle clothes were destroyed, hair disheveled. He was blasted until he flew outwards. This battle had already ended. Everyone knew both of these powerful individuals who grasped the bronze Immortal Palace and Great Bell were no match, meaning that the others were likely not much better off. Perhaps, large amounts of heads were going to tumble. This video will end here.